You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters, let's talk about the Rams. Rams shocked the world last night by taking Ty Simpson, quarterback, Alabama, at number 13 in the NFL draft. And a lot of people got shocked by this. Now, I will tell you, there is one draft pundit that knew something. And that draft pundit was Todd McShay. He started at the beginning of the week talking. He said, don't be shocked, don't be surprised if the Rams do something with Ty Simpson at 13. He knew. They also said last night that, and we'll get to the video everybody's looking at, McVay and Les Snead. Guys, there's no way in hell that Les Snead went rogue on Sean McVay or just did an overrule on him. No. I think most people consider them maybe the two closest general manager and coaches in the entire league, lockstep, eye to eye, all of it. And somebody said last night, remember when the story was going around that Ty Simpson had talked to general managers in the NFL about whether to come out in the draft this year? Well, they said specifically last night, Les Snead was one of the general managers he talked to, and Les Snead told him, yes, come out, you will be drafted in the first round. The Rams had already put their eyes on Ty Simpson. And you may be like, yeah, but why did they have to take him as high as they did? Well, number one, the Pittsburgh Steelers were going to take him at 21. The Pittsburgh Steelers had a rough night, but they were going to take Ty Simpson at number one. Well, guess what? Came out from Cleveland media this morning. The Browns were awfully high on Ty Simpson last night. Probably at 24. So there was no trade back into the back half of the draft. Arizona, they're playing. I don't know who their draft intelligence people are. They failed miserably. If Ty Simpson was their guy, I mean, they of course, maybe they were trying, there was a lot of word. Arizona was trying to trade back. Maybe they were trying to get down to 12 with the Cowboys or 11 with the Dolphins and couldn't get it done. But this story came out right here. Right here. The class that didn't materialize with just two quarterbacks taken in the first round Thursday night. One shocker when the Rams made the surprise of the night by selecting Alabama's Ty Simpson at number 13. That plan failed. There might not be another quarterback taken for 2 rounds with the 2026 class. The Steelers were going to take him last night. That is messed up. The Steelers wanted to draft a quarterback last night. That's crazy. That's crazy. Again, Cleveland media. The Browns and Ty Simpson last night may have been a thing at 24. This is an interview about Ty Simpson from Sean McVay with Kay Adams.
How much Ty Simpson are you watching?
Well, we watch all of our guys.
I love him.
I like him a lot too.
What do you like about him, like from a Sean McVay?
Well, I would say this. I probably haven't done as much work on him as you have, but I like the way he handles himself. I like the way that you can evaluate a lot of the different things that he's able to do that maybe translate. I'm familiar with what Ryan Grubb did just from him running that offense in Seattle the year before. I think Mendoza was a fun watch too, but there's a lot of other guys that I like at that 13th pick, and whether it's quarterbacks, whether it's guys on offense or defense, Les and his group, and I've been able to spend a bunch of time with them and the coaches. We're excited. We're going to get a good player at 13, I know.
Okay. Well, I mean, everybody's talked about the, win now mode. Ty Simpson couldn't have went to a better spot. Let's be real. Well, I'm not going to take too much of a victory lap here, but I did tell you all that there was real smoke between Ty Simpson's camp and the Rams dating back to November. That was McVay after the draft putting out his McVay report last night. Rams make surprising pick of Ty Simpson. Let's go. This is what everybody's talking about.
I think that at the end of the day, probably processing football, someone who can execute a passing offense, has mobility. So that's probably the macro. There's a lot more variables that go into it, but that's the macro, I would say.
What about Todd's character made him exceptional?
You know what? I think right now he's still becoming, but I would say the journey that he's had. I think the thing you appreciate is persevering, right, through the ebbs and flows of going to Alabama, earning the job, getting his first, let's call it start. The opening game against Florida State, and they lose that game. And I grew up in Alabama. The sky was falling, and
Okay. So, and of course, everybody looking at McVay's face right there and believing he's irate. This guy says that's why McVay's not the GM. This is a clickbait and a dumb take. Anyone that knows the relationship between Les and Sean knows that they wouldn't make this pick without Sean's approval. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, let's be honest. There's still a lot of weapons in the draft in round 2. I mean, it's crazy. I disagree. You can't draft a player like Ty if Sean didn't want him. Absolutely. I understand why the Rams did this, but I wouldn't have done this. The Jets at 16, they were going to take Simpson. That is the other thing that is going around today, too, is that the Jets may have taken Simpson at 16. So if the Rams wanted him, that was where they were going to have to take him. All right. Is it a perfect fit? Ty Simpson came out smelling like a rose, and it sounds to me like they've had this worked out for a very long time. And that's why Simpson decided to forego the year. We all know he could have come back. We've all heard about the NIL money that was on the table. Well, guess what? Being a pick at 13 made it worth coming out. Ty Simpson knew he was going 13, 16, 21. He knew that. That's why he walked away from that money. He had already been told, and it's pretty wild, but it's perfect for him. Set behind Matthew Stafford for a year or two, get trained on how to play quarterback from Sean McVay. You couldn't go to a better place. You could not go to a better place. Now, the only argument I would have, if I was a Rams fan, okay, you're in win now mode. I get it. There's other good players left in the draft. If you wanted a quarterback, you guys know I like Garrett Nussmeier a lot. I think him and Sean McVay, those Kyle Shanahan types, that's a really good match. Carson Beck, slightly less. I've said I've got I've got those guys number 3, but it's like 3A and 3B. They're nearly tied. You know, Drew Aller, I got quite a bit further down because there were times he was a disaster at Penn State. Great arm, but the way he throws layered balls worries the shit out of me. There's a lot of smoke with Drew Aller and the Browns. Just take Garrett Nussmeier. Just take Carson Beck. You know, I mean, just take guys that's got starts. Garrett Nussmeier was potentially projected to be the number 1 overall pick in the draft. Got hurt. Has looked great since being healthy. Don't overthink it. I don't know. I've talked about that before. I wanted to talk about this video because I was like, there's not a chance in hell that Les Snead went rogue on Sean McVay. That's got to be one of the more dumber things I have heard. And if you think this guy really is the franchise quarterback of the future, shit, you just take him. Under the scenario of a perfect fit of being able to wait a year to start, it's a perfect scenario. Even if Stafford gets hurt, they haven't re-signed Garoppolo yet. He may retire. He may re-sign. Nobody knows. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.